Was he here last time? I don't remember. I think he was. I feel like we've talked to Siegfried here before. Absolutely use that thing. Don't think she has anything new to say. Yep. Anyway, so now we have Estus Flask +3. Our healing will be much, much better for having this.
There you are. I'll be heading down below shortly. There's nothing worthwhile up above. No worries. Venturing is my life. I'm prepared for the worst.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain we've seen that before. Does anyone around here sell Homeward Bones? I don't think so. Fuck it. We'll get enough later. On the plus side, having to do that trip twice did get us 15,000 souls, which should be enough for another one of Logan's sorceries. I do want to buy all of them from him, because that's what finishes up his quest line. Now that we've done that, I think that there is only one more area for us to cover here.
Oh, hello there. Where have you been? Time is a resource. Let's delve in promptly.
Interesting that he would have that to say about this. Oh, do I not have enough for any of these? RIP. Damn, I need 20,000 for even the cheapest ones. Okay.
The toast.
Yep.
I know.
There we go.
Farewell.
See ya. I'll definitely come back. Probably once I get Seath's souls, I'll just pour them straight into Logan. Now, if you'll remember correctly, this room had a bunch of treasure chests, a mimic, and a, secret, quote-unquote, staircase? So, from here, which was already a pretty disorderly room that was already, like, hidden behind, like, a hidden bookshelf kind of deal, there's a second wall here, and that tells you that this area here was kind of meant to be even more hidden. Especially when you consider how like, completely messed up this place is. Like, clearly, there's some broken a bunch of broken machines and stuff here that have completely rusted over. We also find some prism stones, which is really just a cruel joke by the game. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna equip those, because I have no pride. It's also possible that this is just a cellar, because it actually leads out... Try tail. Try dashing through. Both actually very good pieces of advice. It leads down into the garden section that we were actually overlooking. Like, in fact, I think right, almost directly above us is our perch, I think, was right over there. So let's take a look at what's in this garden, because there's quite a bit. I hope I don't die. So we find, once again, these crystal golems. Except now they're quite a bit more powerful. I think they're actually about as powerful as the golem that was up in the, or that was upstairs. The fact that I can stagger these things is really, really important, because they hit like trucks. Much like all the other crystal things, they are extremely, extremely powerful. Getting through this area, there's a bunch of items kind of strewn about in this wooded garden here, and getting through it really requires you to carefully consider your fights, because fighting several of these guys at once is a nightmare. Bait. Stagger. Bait. Ow, yeah, there we go. Even with that, I still took a whooping. Pretty good souls, though. In general, you're better off hugging the perimeter at first, because most of the items are around here, and you're much less likely to draw aggro. Also, there's a bunch of these guys just chilling. Ooh, fuck. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that new Estus flask, though. Gift from the gods. Some of their hooks are quite speedy, so you do have to be careful of that. I believe they do pure physical damage, so if we had some heavier armor, we'd be in a better place. Blue Titanite chunk. These guys drop blue Titanite chunks, incidentally. And, yeah, hello. You. How many arrows do I have? You, yeah, there we go. Do not want to take on 3 of these at once. Like, I could do 2. 3 will almost certainly kill me. That crystal attack, unlike most of those kinds of area attacks in the game, will not hit you after its initial explosion outwards. So you can actually... You're a lot safer in that than you would be in most, against most other AoEs to run in and punish it. You wanna go see what's over there, maybe? Okay, yeah, here you go. It's also worth noting that they have a fast right hook and then a much slower but much further range. Actually, it's a left hook. The one that, like, they make a club with their arm. Ow. That was a bad idea. I would have died there if I had been just slightly slower. All right. I don't even know if they were guarding anything. They were just sitting in the corner. These fuckers. Yeah, these guys have a shocking number of attacks for being, you know, big, slow enemies. So it can be very easy to misjudge what one of their attacks is and end up in a range. Yeah, there you go. So that left hook is a much quicker, much shorter one. And they also have the club one. And the wind-up animations for them are actually very similar. So you have to be really, really careful when you're fighting them to not get baited into the wrong type of attack. This wooded area is quite interesting. I believe Logan called it a garden. You notice me? Anyone else notice me? There's only one there, right? None of the other ones there. I know there are still some in the middle. Can I not? There we go. Now, the nice thing is that I can stagger them with the two-handed R2 of this weapon, which really makes fighting them a lot easier. If it wasn't for that, I would be having a lot more trouble here. We find a crystalline set. If you remember, the person who attacked us going up to Cease's tower when we went to fight him was wearing this armor set. And rather than being a crystal-infused piece of armor, this is actually, it's a unique armor set. So let's take a look at it. I assume it's near the bottom. I may have just gone by it. The way the game, like, yeah, there we go. It was closer to the top. Oh well. Crystalline helm. Crystallized helm worn by a hollowed knight who was partially crystallized. The power of the crystal grants high defense. So, not too much out of this, but we do see that the people themselves are crystallizing, which is kind of a terrifying thought, really. There's this kind of sense that these magic crystals are sort of an infection, and as I had said earlier, and as the game kind of has shown us here, crystals are sort of an extension of sorcery, and Dusk said that sorceries, like the sorceries of Vinheim, or of our age are very different from the sorceries of theirs, that they negate all but the self. So you can sort of almost see a selfish, corrupting influence within these crystals. Also, once again, there's a spawn that isn't here that I thought should be here, so that's annoying. I want there to be a crystal golem, like, right here, and I don't know why there isn't. Probably some esoteric trigger. Oh well. Either way, let's see. I believe that there really isn't much of a way to get into the woods without aggroing these two. Also, they will both aggro from a ridiculous range if you approach them on this side. Although I think actually if you don't go in, the other one won't come for you. It's weird. He'll like start attacking, but won't, or he'll start moving, but then won't actually go towards you. I think he paths poorly or something. I'll have to look up another quest and see what the prerequisites for it are. Anyway, I feel like there's supposed to be one other thing around here. I feel like there's a chest that I missed, honestly. I am probably gonna have to do some looking things up after this. This area is a bit weird and brown, so it's easy to miss things. I might do a like quick one-over after we go through. These boys can get some air. I will give them that. Nope. There we go. 1.2k souls a pop. Pretty freaking nice, though. Alright, be right back. Well, apparently I have to get Siegfried to actually leave for, down below. To actually leave Firelink Shrine to get what I want to happen here. I thought I had already done it, but he doesn't seem to want to budge. Oh well. That's a bit awkward. I'll figure that shit out. Anyway, so as we saw coming out of the tower, which is pretty much straight behind us, this crystal here is kind of the last centerpiece of the area, and I kind of like that for how shiny it was when we last saw it. Up close, it really looks like it's kind of, you know, aged and dingy. Like, all of these crystals here certainly seem like they're not perfect. But still, there is clearly a growing crystallization in this area. And the only way forward at this point is straight into one of the worst areas in the entire game. Good luck indeed. Welcome to Crystal Cave. The geometry in this level is awkward. We walk forward, and if you happen to walk on that slope, you will slip and you will die. And the real problem here is that you're kind of expected to fight these crystal golems on this uneven territory that, frankly, one wrong move and you will fall off to your death. You probably noticed while we were running around, and I mentioned it very briefly, that there's like the terrain up on the hill is very slippery. It's just as bad here, except now if you step the wrong way, you slide off and die. So this is not a good area. That's about all I can say about it. I mean, it's a very pretty area, and you can see from everything around here that clearly the crystallization that seems to be C's thing has set in extremely hard around here, and that we seem to be coming towards perhaps the source of that crystallization. Thanks. One nice thing is that we can actually see, like, the intended path here. The first time I came in, I was just like, what can you walk on in here, you know? There's tons of spears jutting out everywhere. It is a bad time. Try ranged battle. I'm not gonna do that. We also find the moonlight butterflies. Midnight butterflies. The moonlight butterfly that we fought in Darkroot Garden seems to have come out of this place over here, because there are several of them just chilling out here. Gorgeous view. You're not wrong. Other than that, let's see what else we have. If you listen, you can hear these little flakes of snow, or they're probably snow, and also see a message. And this is supposed to teach you that there are actually invisible paths. The thing is, it doesn't always do that very well. I have some issues with this place. The first time I came here, I had no concept of how any of this worked, honestly. Try fleeing. You were just the most helpful. There we go. So, important to note, unless you attack these things, the moonlight butterflies will not attack you. Don't touch them. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. They're good. They will kick your ass on this tiny hill here if you don't have ranged combat. You can probably blow them up if you're good and your magic is strong or your pyromancy is strong and you can hit them, but trust me, you are better off not bothering. Hidden path ahead. Now, we get to this point, and if you haven't made the connection about these paths here, you will not realize that you should walk forward. This message here is a dev message, so even if you're offline, this message will appear, and you'll be able to see it sort of just floating out in infinity. But oh god, this place is terrifying, because it's really no way to know, like, where to the left or right this path ends. And even with these little snowflakes hitting the path, there's no sense of depth. You can't really see where those flakes are hitting behind you and in front of you. It's an area that is sort of like a cute idea that doesn't really work in the Dark Souls style. Also, the reason that they gave you prism stones like this is that prism stones are able to tell you if there is a path under you or not. 20 is not nearly enough for the kind of path finding we want to do, though. That said, this area actually manages to get even more obnoxious. Because, we're on this slippery little path here. And there's a golem on here. God help you. You want to take this guy out as fast as possible, because he will knock you off. He will destroy you. Oh, that motherfucker. You'll notice I got lucky. Ow. Yeah, like that. You'll notice I'm trying to bait him into, like, close range attacks instead of letting him close the distance on us. That's because we basically have a wall at our backs here, and trying to go around him is pretty much suicide. So I basically wanted to stop him from moving forward, and that's honestly the best that you can do if you can't just run away from him. Shit is terrifying. Path ahead. So, we can see already that there is another path kind of leading basically straight away from where the first one was. There's a bit more here. I don't like that path all that much, because it can be a bit tough to tell where it ends exactly. Oh, right. There's also the fact that this ledge here kind of... You can see it tilt up, it gets slippery, and it'll kill you. Oh, wait, actually, I think I have to take that path. The thing that I thought it was is actually that next crystal over there. Oh god, this area, it's so huge and beautiful, but it's also confusing as hell. Anyway, I'm gonna try to line this up as best I can, but it's like, you know, I can clearly see those in the distance, but I'm not 100% sure if the ground in front of me is, you know, ground. That's heartening. And here's really the thing. Other than messages that could show you the way and prism stones, it is ridiculously tough to tell what is and isn't, you know, like where these paths exactly are. The way that the camera works in Dark Souls, the way that these like things very briefly appear and then go away, with a poor sense of depth, make it extremely difficult to actually properly, you know, pathfind on these things. To say that, okay, I know for sure that a thing hit here. I don't know how wide this path is. This is so fucking difficult. There is another crystal golem in front of me. Kind of same rules of combat apply as the last one. I really need to be very careful. Especially because I think I will slide off the left side. And like, I almost did it right there. That's how close this is. I have also gotten caught by that twofer twice now. Oops! That's not an Estus flask. I just gave up a lot of ground there. Oh, nope, goodbye. Wanted to roll backwards. That's Crystal Caves. Leave! Why are you still here, Sigmund? Go away.